Well, here I am. I'm back. Currently is June the 8th on a Sunday at 12:06 p.m. I didn't think I'd come back. I've had such terrible personal problems and I just can't resolve them. It's other people messing with me. But things go on, right? Let me get this thing. I'm at the park again. These glasses might be too dark, huh? The sun is bright out there. I have so much information to talk about. Good stuff. In the last video or two, I promised I'd talk about, my abilities. I call them skills still. I can't control the stuff that I've got going here. And the idea that really Jay saved my life. Let me start with that first. I had an unfortunate childhood. I was kidnapped twice, okay? And that messed me up so bad. I didn't know that all throughout life, in retrospect, I could feel this, but I've been living in absolute terror. And I mean terror as if, a lion or a tiger was standing in front of me. And it's been really hard to kind of disassociate that feeling from what I've got now. When I had the crank up, from Jay back on September 5th, 2017, going on just about 8 years now, it was a fantastic thing because you can imagine a person living a life full of terror and not knowing where that feeling would come from. So I went through life. I haven't even talked about my life yet. Kind of interesting. I'll save that for another video. But the fact that those feelings have been somewhat alleviated from me, oh my gosh, it was worth the crank up. It was worth the money I paid for the crank up. But in any case, I have ongoing disorientation from the crank up, maybe just like you folks out there. Still, Jay said it would be 5 or 6 years that we'd have it. I still have it. It may in fact be associated with the peripheral neuropathy I have, which is another reason why I had to leave for 3 months. I think I produced a few videos, but I had to leave to see where the stuff was going, and it's amped up. And I mean, I feel like warmed over you-know-what. But what do? You just move forward. And I think the persistence that I have in wanting to say things on video has everything to do with being essential. And I never realized this until Jay pointed this out. 4 trillion lives? What was I? Stand guard or something to source, the source entities or whatever you call them? I don't know. But I've sacrificed my life all along for other people, and now it's getting to the point where I've got to start thinking about myself. In particular, Jay may have crossed over at this point. I haven't looked at Walker Valsius. I like that name. Very distinguished, very noble. And to see what's going on, because he pretty much stays in touch with the YouTube public and lets us know what's going on with those videos that Jay has been giving him with the interviews or sit-downs, I guess you could call it at this point, with Tim the Englishman. I forgot his last name. I'm sorry. What a great guy he is. And he's got one heck of a job that Jay has lined up for him as a source person, taking over. As you can see, if you look at Walker's videos, taking over when Jay has crossed over. I don't know how he's going to do it. It's going to be tough. I have, by the way, a couple lists here that I've typed out on what it's going to be like for Tim to take over the assignment that Jay has given him. And this is just all in fun. I'm not making fun of all of Tim. Rather, this is just a playful exercise concerning what I foresee is going to be his challenge when he takes over. I'm going to start to, I think, because my mind is always in a quandary, folks. I mean, it's terrible. It's just terrible. I'm just going to throw stuff at people from now on. I'll have to type stuff down, maybe read from it. But as long as I give you guys good information, I think, and resources to go to through my comment section, I think you'll enjoy that. I mean, who else the heck is doing videos these days? I'm not the cat's meow, but there are things I know that can help people out there, and I'm totally Dna-Icuc and totally Dna-Icuc. Yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm in their corner, with everything they do and say. Although it's kind of hard, folks. I guess maybe I could say at the front here that Walker has posted a video. I have the name here somewhere of a video that talks about what Jay's going to do in China. And that's a tough one. That's a really tough one for me to have seen, because Jay's going to take extraordinary attention to that country, I guess because of the history that they've led and their culture. I don't know. My thinking was, why can't he just go to the CCP Politburo, and take some folks out to the woodshed, and then have Lily come and just, spread her magic over the rest of the country. We're talking about 1.4 billion people, I think. I don't know. I wish there was some kind of update on that, because folks, we're all connected. We're all connected to the people everywhere, and it's there's going to be innocent people involved with Jay's adjudication, essentially. So I don't know. I've been in a real quandary for a few weeks about this, and I do know, and I believe this, Jay is beyond brilliance, okay? He says he doesn't know everything, but he can, okay? He can tap into the source field, I believe, and just about find anything he needs to understand, and then and he can see the future. So I don't know, maybe that has a lot to do with his adjudication over China. In any case, what I've done is I've got more than several actually, links to YouTube videos that explain what's going on with China. They're not doing so nice, they're not nice to the world in many ways. And I predict that when Jay crosses over and he performs his adjudication with China, this world is going to go in economic decline. So I'm all for people, gearing up now, seeing ahead of time what's going to be happening, and gear up for it, prepare for it. Food storage. I've talked about that for years, and I've never gotten feedback. Although I have to say, the letters I sent to all the source people, what was it? January of 2020. That's when the COVID was cracking, and I was a little bit fearful that people wouldn't be prepared. I live in the backwoods, so naturally we stock up on food and this, that, and the other just to survive any issue that happens out there. And I just realized yesterday the reason why they didn't respond and say, hey, you're right, we should, as source, Jay's going to take care of them. Basically. So what do you do, What I would like to represent in the longer term, if I can stay, posted on YouTube. I mean, the guy downstairs is just, he's brutalizing me, and there's no way I can get away from this, and I hate to sound like a whiner, but I mean, when the guy tries to kill you legitimately, I mean, not any case, what I'd like to do in the long run is be a resource that one can go to get a feel for what it's like to prep with an economic downturn, either through Jay's interaction with China or with even the upcoming animal issue where he's going to remove the animals. You don't think that's not going to have a big effect on? I got to keep posted and of people coming into the park here. The effect of this is just going to turn this world upside down. And my perspective on something like this is maybe a little bit different from yours, only because I live in the woods, backwoods. People pack heat, okay? They aren't messing around. Women pack heat too, because people are nuts up here. People come and live in the woods, in the mountains in northern Idaho, where I'm located, because they can't make it in the big city, and their minds are messed up. Like the guy downstairs, man, and he's screaming day and night, and it's horrible. I haven't had 8 hours of sleep in 5 years at least, and it's really getting to me, So it's not only stocking up on food up here, because we can be, somebody's coming up here. We could be offset by storms, winter storms, trees fall down over the highway getting up here, and we got to have propane. Oh, what is this guy doing? What can I do, folks? Maybe by the end of the summer I'll have enough money to subscribe to, what is it, Starlink? Yeah, Starlink, I think. Elon Musk's his company. That's the only thing I can get to have quick access to the internet. And by the way, if I'm ever able to do something like that, man, I'm going to be on the internet 24 hours a day. Well, I didn't actually explain what it is I want to do. I want to be a resource to people out there who aren't source and who will not, at this point it seems, not be taken care of by Dna-Icuc. And let me explain that. Jay has a very important task at hand, and that is to make sure that the new ocean nation is firmly in place before it crosses over. And then the people who are non-ET, the source people, all have been, I'm assuming, assignments to help Jay in his legacy of the existential change that he's going to bring about to this world. And it's very important. Who is it? Leonard Nimoy, Spock from Star Trek, said something like, the needs of the many are greater than the few? Something like that? My mind is going, folks. I can't remember the simplest stuff. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of a few, something like that. And you get my drift, okay? And so, he's got to make sure everything's in place before he goes. And that's what these videos that Walker's presenting of all these, interviews with Tim, the Englishman. Very distinguished title there. I think, was it Jay that said that to begin with? I don't know. In any case, don't take it to heart that it seems like he's abandoning us, because there's somewhere along the line someone's going to help us out, the non-source folks, and we can make it. What we need is more people producing more videos, and I've always talked about that on my channel, because at some point, collaboratively, we can form our own union, our own source of help. My mind is going, folks. I gotta tell you, it's not easy talking these days, but you get my drift, right? And at some point I'm going to have to stop talking about the metaphysicality that has been running through me. And in actuality, I haven't even described the skills and metaphysical put this on a wider screen here. Come on, come on. Metaphysical skills I have only because it's most of it is ineffable, meaning it's hard to describe in words that are feeling for everybody. I mean, right now as it stands, in fact, let me show you. Did I bring that with me or not? Yeah. Check this out. Yeah, right. That's what I feel all the time. My energy doesn't come out exactly like that. It's just very smooth, wavy, and I can see this stuff. And it used to be that I couldn't see this stuff during the day, but now I can. It's just a matter of focusing the eyes, knowing what to look for. And if I had to do it all again, over again, because of the situation I have with peripheral neuropathy, I don't think I would have had a crank up, because J's energy intensifies everything in our body, and this peripheral neuropathy is just, it drives me crazy. And I might have moaned and stuff in the past about it, but it's getting worse. And so I just have to be very careful not to eat starches and drink soda pop. I love soda pop. That's my downfall. I can give up all the floury sweets and stuff and candy bars, and but having a soda is kind of cool. So what I've always wanted to do was, starting years ago when I noticed that the interaction between J's energy and this peripheral neuropathy, which goes from the feet to the hands and then through the legs and the body, it just creeps over oneself. And I've been, I think, keeping it at bay in part because what I've done is to learn. I've taught myself American Sign Language. I can speak to any deaf person around, okay? And the reason for that is I'm shining this energy, and I've learned that if I don't perform like signing to music, I'm going to have another channel on that, by the way. Signing to music, it's very popular out there among other deaf people and teachers, ASL teachers. The energy just seems to build up in me, and I just wish I was part of Jay's inner circle, so I could, get some explanation of what the hell's going on with me, because it's really not fun. And here I am whining, but folks, it hurts like frick. So I'm always expressing this stuff. It's shooting out all over me. And when I'm lying down at night, and I've said this before, my fingers point at my body. I have to put a pillow on my chest with my arm on it. Otherwise, the energy hits my heart, my lungs, and I start to gag. It's just all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, what's the point of having a skill like this? What am I going to do? I put my friend Ed Cushman, I've talked about him before, I put him in the hospital when I shine this stuff at him. Is this ability just this kind of breaking out because I was in the SSB a long time ago? I wish I could speak to Penny Bradley, because she's got that kinetic ability when, she used to have it, I guess, and probably still has in one of her altars, where she can take out somebody with this stuff. I don't want to take out people with this, and I know how. Only because I listened to one of her videos and explained it. But folks, I'm telling you, in a way, I should be telling everybody, don't develop this skill. And everything I've published up to now is about how to develop this skill. And what few things I'm saying about it now doesn't measure up to everything that's been going on. It blows me away. So getting back to what I'm saying about ASL, the only way I can express this energy and remove it out of me is to shine it out. And I found that, did I bring it this time or no, I didn't? There are other things one can do to help cure the peripheral neuropathy. I'll have to talk about that next time around. that I've discovered, but it's a slow process. My peripheral neuropathy is advanced. So, folks, get a glucose test. Even if you think you don't have diabetes, because once it sets in, over 50% of the people out there will develop peripheral neuropathy, and it can be very painful. You don't need that kind of discomfort, So I've got more stuff I've got to say here. Maybe I should cut this video short and carry it over into another video or 2 or 3. Man, I could be doing videos forever. And just keep in mind, whining here again, it's really hard for me to put these videos out because, no internet access and the guy downstairs, but I have so much information that can be helpful to everybody if you just hold on, And I'm trying to jerk a chain on, if you're not interested in what I have to say, well, make trails, I guess. But I'm really trying to help people in ways that maybe you don't even know exist. So in any case, I'm going to stop this video here, and I guess what I have to say in sum is be sure to download using 4K video downloader all of Jay's videos that are on Walker Valsius playlists. I think there's a few of them missing, but you're going to need something like 4K video downloader to mass download these videos. Excellent videos. Back in 2016, Jay, of course, was producing videos like crazy, and these are good pieces of information we need to know. I haven't looked at them other than just to focus on downloading this stuff, because who knows, maybe again, I don't know if Jay's crossed over yet, but when he crosses over, maybe Walker won't be around. We don't know. So that, and then download any other videos from any other playlist that Jay has on his channel on YouTube, Jay Essex. And then he used to have Jay Era Essex. What? My mind is going. Archive, maybe. Whatever you can find. Get yourself a brand new external drive and just dedicate everything you download to that, because this stuff may not be around at some point. And it would be nice if we could tap into this information and pass it on to others. And so, anyway, that's that. What else do I have to say quickly? I'm going to be posting information about China, their culture, and it may give us some idea of what is running through Jay's mind when he talks about, having, typhoons go through China. And it's not a very funny situation, I just feel sorry for our people. And what do? And then what else? I've got to do some research on synesthesia. For those of you who have skills or abilities you don't know how to understand, I would recommend doing some research on that. Maybe I should post my links here on synesthesia, what it is at least. I still have to research this stuff myself and see if I can associate what hidden abilities I might have, what hidden abilities you might have not aware of. So I think there's so much information on synesthesia. I think you'll be surprised and enamored with the potential that you may be more than what you think you are. The last thing I want to say is this thing about the way I don't know if I said this before, the spirit guides contact me. They do it in a variety of ways. Have I said this before? My nose drips all of a sudden when I'm thinking about something or questioning something, or there's something I believe that they are tapping into and they want to emphasize, make a point of, that I should follow through on, I should do, I should be aware of, don't do, any of that kind of stuff. I don't see pictures in my mind because I don't focus on pictures that they may be giving me in my mind, because I have so much garbage going on. What do they call it? Monkey brain. In the Chinese culture, they call it monkey brain. It's just going on forever and ever, and it's hard to tame it enough so I can see pictures. Maybe spontaneous pictures they may project to me. I don't know. So when I get in my ear, both of them actually, is what's called middle ear barotrauma. And it's the feeling one has in an ear when one decelerates from a plane to a lower altitude. I don't know, I can't recall it being something that happens when one rises in the plane. But nonetheless, that's an indication that I should be listening to them. I get the runny nose, of course, and I still have actually, tears come out. Something really sad. I think Jay might have mentioned something that, well, I have a soft heart. Well, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's a way that the other side, the spirit guides have been able to tap into to get me to listen to them. And I used to look at the JSX cards. What do you call them? See, there you go. I'm tapping it. I can't remember the easiest things. I used to have those cards to listen to what they had to say to me, but I'm just so busy. I can't even do the simplest things these days. I'm just trying to keep a straight head, survive like you guys. So I've got more to say about that type of information. And what else do I have here? This I'll save for next time around. I've already produced 3 videos other than this one, and I might upload that too. I should just go as quickly as I can and produce as many as I can, because I don't know, what's going to happen in this world when Jay does his thing, reaches into his bucket list, and we're going to be free floating to some degree. I'm not so sure, and this is my opinion. People can get mad at me, but and even Jay could get mad at me. But this idea of drop shipping all these food processing machines that are supposed to give us food, is that what you call it? Food, whatever. I think he also said that's going to happen in Africa first. It should be happening everywhere, but we're talking billions of machines. How can those things be drop shipped and then serviced by ETs? You're talking about a massive effort. That's why I'm saying, folks, you got to start thinking about stocking up on food. And I'm not talking about them crappy, canned foods. That's just disgusting. I'm talking about getting seeds for growing, learning how to grow. If you don't know how to grow your own food, getting a freezer and stocking up on meat if you're into meat. I wish I could avoid eating meat, but it's tough. It's tough. I've gotten by with 1 year not eating meat, and it was okay. Currently, by the way, can't forget to say this, since I had the crank up, I naturally lost weight. I lost 72, 74 pounds. I used to be 296. I'm 222 now. And I could lose more, but I got to have organic food. And you know yourself, when you eat organic food, it can be expensive. On the other hand, you eat less of that type of food because it's more nutritious than the other stuff you can buy in food. So I would highly suggest that if you can merge, and you know this, I don't have to counsel you on maybe anything. You guys are smarter than me, I bet you. In all this stuff. But at least I can give credence to the idea that, when you lose weight, then your body starts to be able to feel the unfeelable that circulates in your body. And that's the biggest thing. Nobody's talked about that. How being overweight can really stifle and suffocate you from feeling. Your body's stuffed with all this food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your mind is focused on that and digesting that. The idea of trying to eat just minimally is so important. Fasting, I do that a lot. Here's another trick. I guarantee you'll lose weight this way. Guarantee it. Just eat in small amounts, just over the border of just being hungry and just satisfied, not to the point you're stuffing your stomach. Guys, we get fat stomachs. That's what we're genetically prone to get when we eat too much. And all those guys with big stomachs, that's just inflammation. That's just inflammation. So, and I guess that would apply to women, only they have other issues. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to get in trouble. So try that. And it's hard. It's really hard not to want to. How long have I been going at this here? I can't even. 31 minutes, that's not too bad. I can't even tell you how important it is to get a hold on this, because I eat because not only to sustain my body, but to avoid feeling the bad things that have gone in my life. My life has been very sad, and I don't know, not my fault, and Jay talks about, that the source folks, the original source folks, taking over our minds and causing great anguish. And in our lives, we haven't led the lives we would have liked to live. Anyway, I could get off on a rant in that direction. But, if you could test yourself and see if you just eat over that line of just feeling okay, just satisfied, and then recognize that, hey, I'm reaching for that sandwich or that, bread or something, and why is that? Do I really need it? That's hard, and I'm still working on that, but it's the idea that we can actually sustain ourselves, in my opinion, and I guess it's probably all over YouTube too. Just one meal a day, just little bits amounts. I have my friend Ed Cushman does that. He just a small plate of food a day. He's good to go. Anyway, I'm sorry if I'm going off in directions that you guys already know, but just think of what I say as reinforcing what you already know, okay? That's something. You have important lives, you have family, you have work, you've got things to do. So I really appreciate the fact that you listen to me, and it blows my mind. It blows my mind. What else can I say before I go? Because I have so much more I can say in other videos. Oh, real important. Here's another reason why you might want to consider not developing the kind of skill and metaphysical abilities that I have, is because I truly believe that since I recognize I've had this all my life, only it hasn't been as strong emanating out of me until Jay came along and gave me the crank up. I think it's led to pushing people away from me. I think Jay says our hearts talk to each other, but I think it's more than that. I think it's that our bodies feel each other's, and because the stuff that I do with this skill, it freaking hurts, dude. As soon as I point it at my body, I get some kind of effect. It could be a blunt force effect. It could be pinpricking. It could be percolating. And what I thought used to be just pure vibration from the crank up, I think now is just partly that, but maybe more that my nervous system and throughout my body is being affected by peripheral neuropathy. And I see myself in the long run, if I don't get this under control, which apparently can be put under control by certain vitamins, Um, I'm going to develop into something like neurocutaneous de, dysesthesias. That's a hard one. Dysesthesias. Or something like sensory motor polyneuropathy. I mean, that's where the whole body takes all off with this neuropathy stuff. Folks, you don't want to go there. You know, nip this stuff in the bud if you think you have it. And you know, shoot me questions. You know, my YouTube email address should be there at the bottom in the comment section. But you know, I'm getting real familiar with this stuff, and I actually have more to say about what can be done in the interim of solving this problem. What ameliorative things are possible out there, which I've tapped into. Okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna hang up, and maybe I should go ahead and talk about something else. I've got to review the videos I've published, not published, but actually produced already. I'm really interested in passing on some information to Tim, the Englishman. If you know his last name, please let me know, will you? I'd like to be a little bit more respectful to him, if you don't mind. Okay, so I'm going to say be good, be kind, give back to community, and that's a topic I have to produce a video on too. How I give back to community despite being up here in the northern woods of Idaho. Okay? Later, alligator.